Okay, so let's just jump right in then. I'd love to know how it felt to win the awards at Charity Village's inaugural conference and awards this year.
Well, it was really great to actually be recognized. We didn't know these awards were a thing until my president actually flagged it for me, and I said, "This is great. We should definitely apply." So it was kind of a validation of all the hard work that we had done last year, which it was a lot of hard work during COVID. It was not an easy thing to try and raise money when we couldn't do in-person events. That had really taken a toll. So throughout the year, we had seen we were kind of lagging on our fundraising a little bit, and we had put a lot of pressure on our holiday campaign to make up for that. The holidays are generally a time where we raise the most money. People are feeling very generous. There's gift giving that can now happen. It's quite popular. So we really were relying on that holiday campaign to kind of boost up the fundraising that we had done throughout the year. And it came through in a really big way. So it felt amazing to have that recognition in this type of award, especially from an organization like Charity Village, which completely understands the world of nonprofit and how things work. So it's kind of great to be recognized in an area of our peers. So it was really special.
Well, it was special for us too. It's our first time. So congratulations for sure. Can you talk about your organization, just a little bit of background, the program that you actually launched, the campaign that you launched, and what you think made the difference for you that allowed you to win this award? I mean, the results, I think, should be addressed because they were pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Well, the Etobicoke Humane Society is a very small shelter in the West End of Toronto. We're actually not affiliated with the Toronto Humane Society. We're our own rescue operation. And so we're very small. So we like to call ourselves a small shelter with a big heart. We're entirely run by volunteers. So that makes us very unique. We have no paid staff at the shelter, working at the shelter. Everybody is volunteering their time, from our board of directors right down to the people that man the desks and the phones. So we're a much smaller operation. We only have cats and dogs in our shelter. So we keep things just to cats and dogs. So that's a little bit different as well. We've been in operation for more than 30 years, and we rely entirely on donations and fundraising. So we don't receive any government grants. We don't have any money coming in from the city. So it's all on our volunteer team to bring in the money. The second part of your question, remind me what it is.
So just a little bit about, you obviously had to pivot and create this new campaign. Could you address the new things that you did and the things that allowed you think that made the difference to allow you to win this award?
Right. So we did have to approach this holiday campaign a little differently than years past. It was fully virtual. And because we had to make up some money that we had missed out on in-person events throughout the year, we had to offer different things to go along with it. So we had traditionally always done just the outreach, asking for donations. And then we had done e-cards that people could share. But last year, we actually really branched it out. So we had different activities in place. We still had the e-cards, which are very popular, but we also added things like a photo contest, and that was a big draw. We also put a lot more effort into our Giving Tuesday. So Giving Tuesday was a big success for us last year. We raised more than $30,000, and that was the most we'd ever raised in one day. To make that happen, what we had done is actually reached out to our fosters at the time, because we didn't have any animals actually in the shelter, and asked them to do videos with their animals so that they could show why EHS is so important and why they support us and why other people should support us. And we found that was really successful. So it's something we hadn't done. I think it worked really well because it was the volunteers, the fosters that had the animals. So we were really relying on the cuteness of our dogs and cats. We're not going to lie. They're really popular on the internet. So we try to use them whenever possible. And that's also another thing that played into a lot of our email communication that we did. We ramped up the number of e-blasts that we sent out to our supporters, and we were always looking to include a story about one of our animals in those e-blasts so that people could feel connected to the shelter and really have a feeling of what we're doing and the animals that we're helping. So we had to really have some variation in what we were doing. And then the e-cards were always popular. So we've offered those again. And we again would send out e-blasts for that. So it was a lot of work. We also really heavily relied on social media. We've got a great following on Instagram and Facebook. And so we relied on the supporters. So we really pushed out a lot. When we were doing individual posts on the holiday campaign, we would be asking for donations and offering up the different activities that we had. But then we would also also try and include the holiday campaign, even if it was just about a story about a dog or a cat that we had. So we would say, that particular dog or cat wants you to think about the holiday campaign. So we really try to weave it into everything that we did during the time that we were active with the holiday campaign.
So really telling the stories and actually putting the animals that you were helping into the stories as part of the campaign in this sort of social media driven project that I guess used many of your community to actually help become advocates or ambassadors.
That's right. Yeah, we really did rely on the stories of our animals because that's what pulls at the heartstrings of everyone. And it just makes them relate to us a little bit more, because if they just see some dogs or cats up for adoption and we're asking for donations, they may not have that same connection if they actually hear that personal story of an animal that we've helped, or how that animal came into our care. Maybe it was on the streets, or maybe it came from a bad situation, or some of the animals that we've helped that have really needed to be treated for health conditions or behavior. So the extra mile that we go, and we have great pictures and we've got great stories, and in really using videos for the Giving Tuesday, that helped out a lot. But yeah, having our community members, so our supporters and our volunteers, we were always asking them, please share this message with your friends and family so that it would help spread the word a little bit more and a little bit wider than the people that we already had as our supporters. But really, our supporters are our base, and we know that they're going to come through. We have some of the best supporters, I think, for such a small shelter. We have some people that are really passionate about helping EHS, and we know that when we need them, they come through. So we always try to communicate a lot with them. So I think that the main part of this was really the communications of the holiday campaign and what we were doing. And it worked out for us quite well.
Excellent. I'd love to understand, could you tell us about what the results were? Because I think you even exceeded your expected goals.
Yeah, so in 2019, we had raised about $75,000, and we were trying to improve on that. We really needed to. So we were looking at about 95,000, maybe 100,000 that we could be going for. And we knew that this was going to be an ambitious target. It was the largest that we were looking to raise in one campaign. It had never been done before. So it took a lot of work, a lot of those different activities. But we ended up, in the end, we actually raised $150,000, which we were so surprised at. And I would say that the Giving Tuesday is what really surprised everybody, raising like $30,000 in one day, which just blew our minds. So it just showed our supporters were really there for us. But we were really surprised at the amount of donations that came in. And now that just means we're trying to do it again this year. So we've set the bar a little bit high. We're still going for it. But we're confident that this is something that we can now do. Now that it has been done, we're going to try and do it again.
Well, congratulations. I'd love to know what the impact has been on your organization of winning this award, your team, or, has it been good for team morale or the well-being of the people that you work with?
Well, we've shared it with the fundraising team right now, and our board is aware of it as well. And then the timing is great. We're actually having a town hall for our organization, a virtual town hall tomorrow. So we're going to make sure that that's front and center to make everybody aware that this is something that we've won, we can be really proud of, because our volunteers, the way that it works, the ones that are in the shelters, they may not see other people, because if you're on a shift working one day, you don't see the other people. We've got a lot of people working at home. The fundraising team, a lot of us are virtual, so we don't see each other. And so it's not always clear all the work that's going into everything. So having an award like this to show our volunteers, to say, a little pat on their back, like we are doing a great job, it's amazing. So we're definitely going to be spreading the word at our town hall. So it was great timing.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. I'd love for you to give you an opportunity to give advice, perhaps, to other nonprofit professionals or other organizations who may want to learn something from you, emulate your work and achievements that allowed you to win this award and make this great fundraising goal happen.
Well, I would say that focusing on communications is a good way to go. So if you've got strong communications and you're spreading the word, that's really going to help you go that extra mile. But I would say a lesson that we learned from last year is have various activities that people can be interested in, because not everybody might be as interested in one thing as another. So if you've got a variety of different things, especially for a holiday campaign that's running for about 2 months, 6 weeks, 2 months. It's nice to keep things fresh, to have new things to be promoting. So you're not just going out for the same thing every single time. Like we increased the number of e-blasts that we did. It was helpful to not just be talking about one thing every time when we had something new and fresh. So that was really helpful. But then I would also just say, don't be afraid of asking for donations. So sometimes I think that in the past we've been a bit aware of donor fatigue, and we've maybe been a bit too shy. And we've recognized that now, that if we go out and we explain why we are raising this money, what we're going to do with it, how it's going to benefit our organization, people are willing to step up to the plate and make that donation. So don't be shy about doing that. We were a little concerned, are we going to be going out with too many messaging? It's on social media, it's in the e-blast, it's everywhere. Is that going to be too much? And we found that it really wasn't. People were very engaged with us. So I would say don't be shy about that kind of thing. And then overall communications and various activities to keep the campaign fresh is what I would recommend.
Fantastic. And just for the help of for Charity Village to know, do you think these awards are good for the sector? And if so, can you tell us why?
I definitely think that this is something that's great for the sector. It's a way to be recognized by your peers. It's also a way to get the word about charities and organizations that other charities and organizations may not know about. So if you see someone has won an award for some great work, you may not even have known that that organization was there. And it may be something that you can be looking at doing something similar as well, or maybe getting in touch with them. You could be, working towards the same goals. So I think it's great in a number of ways, but it is really nice to be recognized by your peers, because there are other awards that could be out there. But this is something that's really for nonprofits. And I think that's a great thing to be put in that space and all together.
Well, I really want to congratulate you again. It's a wonderful achievement and for a wonderful cause. And congratulations to your entire team and your volunteers. It's just really inspiring. And thank you for taking the time to speak to us today. And really appreciate it, Tori.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to try and do it again this year for our holiday campaign. So fingers crossed.